Hello everyone. How are you? I hope you are doing well. I am here trying to clean up my craft room and easily distracted. So I started working on some tags because I had a bunch that were almost done and I didn't want to put them away almost done. So I started to work on them and finish them up and then thought I might as well maybe do a little video at the same time since I'm trying to get back into filming and doing videos. So I thought I would show you what I'm doing. I have an abundance of cards, whether they're old playing game cards, like from different games that people have given me, donated, gifted me, to say, hey, can you use these with your crafts? Like, sure. So I have a bunch of small cards. I have a bunch of apples to apples, which is another game, playing cards. I have a bunch of regular playing cards, which I actually didn't bring out because I'm not using those today. But then I also have a bunch of project life cards because I am paper crafter at heart. So I was a scrapbooker before I started doing junk journals. So I literally have a drawer full of these. So I use them a lot to as a base when I'm doing other things. So I wanted to give you a look at what I make with them or how I use them. I also include sometimes these in kits that I create. So I wanted you to know what you can do with it. I've had people go, "What do I do with this card?" So hopefully that ties all of this together. So what I was doing today is finishing up tags that I've already made, and this size is this 5-second rule card. I do not have a ruler right in front of me, so I'll give you a size. I'll make a note of the size. But collaging and then adding brown paper to the back, and this is just Amazon packaging, all the stuff that's shoved in your box. Save it. Paper packaging on the back, book pages on top with some collage, and then adding in embellishments. So this is some 49 and Market, some Tim Holtz, some stamps. There's lace. I do stitching around the side. This is fussy cuts from a magazine, not a magazine, but a bird book, with the collage. So I like to do collage over them and then I add to it. So these are just some that I just did today, or I finished them up today. They've been drying for weeks, but so I was working on them today. So these are some of the tags. I'm going to kind of show you how I do that. Okay. There's also refocus. Okay. The project life cards. So I also collage those. This is a paper book page and then dress pattern over the top. Add a little bit of white paint. This is ready for another step. I did not do the backs of these. I think I am going to because I don't want this XO here. So I'll probably finish that. But I'll show you some bigger ones. This base piece is a 3x5 journaling card that I cut out and then layered. Focus, there we go. This is one of these sized tags on top of a collaged piece with an embellishment on the side. This is a 3x4 Project Life card. I knew because it's rounded, but I didn't cover the back of that one because I like it. With another piece on top and then a fussy cut bird. So I just want to give you like a quick how-to. And I'm really going to try to be quick because I know I say quick and then I talk too much and then my video ends up being an hour long and I'm trying to get away from that. So these ones are process. This is a process. So let me just show you. I have out a sanding disc. This is an old Tim Holtz sandpaper. It has like nails, tacks inside. So you put the tissue paper, sanding paper in there, and then if you can see the nail grabs it and then it's covered, and that happens on both sides. So I use that. I keep with me just a cloth um, to wipe up dust. My collage medium. So I like to use the tub, the, and then a small brush since I'm doing smaller cards. Okay. I have some brown Amazon paper, packaging paper, and then an old falling apart music sheet paper. So I'm going to use this to start. But I'm going to show you just a couple steps, okay? So that you can do this yourself. I'm going to start though, moving all that aside, and I'm just going to take my sanding block and just sand over the card. And the reason is these are glossy. And the collage medium, if you go direct to here and stick it down, it's going to slide a little. But I've noticed I get better traction, I guess you could say, with my adhesive if it's roughed up. Some people will use gesso to add a little bit of, add some tooth, a little texture. But yeah, just a little bit, just rough it up. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple of these and then a couple of the big ones. With the, if you're doing Project Life cards, since they're just paper, it's just pattern paper, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do this step. Okay, but I'm going to just do this. I'm actually going to do both sides. Just to rough it up. A little scratchy scratch. Just to give the glue something to add to or to grab onto. Okay, so this is a messy task. Some people don't like this part because it does leave dust. Leaves dust on your fingers. You can try gesso and let it dry, or maybe even adding a little bit of adhesive, some glue to your card and then letting it dry and then redoing it. That could also add some tooth or some texture to your paper, which could help with the grip. So you want it to be able to grip. I also have a, I don't know where it is. Sometimes I'll use spritz this with water just to get the dust off, but I don't have it with me. It's in my other workstation right now. So as I mentioned, I was at Junkie 4. If you haven't seen that video, I have a fun little recap of all the gifts and a haul video that I just did the other day. So I have all that stuff stacked up in my room right now because I don't have a place for it all to go. So that's why I was saying I started to clean up and then didn't get that far. But what was I talking about? Oh, so I started to work on the dining room table. So now my bedroom is a hot mess. My dining room table is a hot mess. And my mini mister is in the dining room. So that's what that was about. Okay, so I'm just going to do 4 just so I can show you quickly the process. So move these aside. So I scratched them up, sanded them up, and next I'm going to use this really old music sheet. Okay, I'm going to stick it down, upside down. And I can tell by looking at it, like there's a little bit of a margin, which is going to be this little bit of margin on this side and this side. So I'm going to do my first card in there. Okay. Collage medium and a brush. Oops. Keep that in there. All right. So I'm going to be generous, but I also don't want my glue to squeeze out when I lay it down. So I'm just gonna more in the middle and then along the edges. it's going to seep out a little, and I do want a little bit because I don't want it to peel up. If I don't get a good adhesion, I do take it to the sewing machine and I'll sew it, which I showed on some of those that it has some adhesive. So I'm just going to start in the corner and stick it down. Collage medium gives you a few moments to wiggle, but not a lot. Okay, so you don't get a ton of time. Not like with a glue stick or with some other wet adhesives. You could have more working time. Not so much with this one, but that's just how it goes. So adhesive. So when I do this, I tend to do a whole sheet of collage, or just sticking the cards down, I guess you can say. And then go back and trim it once it's all dry. And then I do the other side because I want to make sure that I know where I'm working when I'm working. Meaning I'm not going to take another piece and stick it on top and then not know where to cut out my cards. It sounds logical, but sometimes if you're working too fast, you're trying to just do too many things at once and you just glue it all down and then go, oh man, where was I supposed to cut that? And then you don't have space. So this one, I'm going to go down so that I have more length to use when I'm making more, since I only have 4 ready to go. 4 cards. So again, adhesive, and then stick it down. So you can fast forward through this part if you get it. You're like, yeah, I got it. Just speed it up. This one has a lot, so it's going to spew out a little bit more, but it'll be fine. Okay, so that would be step 1. And so that's going to dry and that's going to be on the back. And then I can collage and do whatever. So now I'm going to just move this aside just to show you the other parts. Okay. This is what they would look like, the smaller ones. This was like an old encyclopedia, children's encyclopedia. This I already started to collage on encyclopedia page. Okay. So these have this. So then for this, once I'm done with that step, I like to do a plain brown paper for the back. This way it can be used to journal on if you wanted to write a note or something like that. I have also, I don't have any right here, have stamped on it. I have a stamp that has lines that would look like lined paper, sorry, like binder paper. So I would stamp on it. I would use if I'm going to do that for these, I would line it up on my stamping platform so that they would be the same. You can use the stamp platform to stamp a bunch at once, so that I'm not like lining it up every time. You just put the card in, excuse me, where where you set up the first one, and then you can just stamp over and over. So there we go. So this would be step 3. So step 1 would be taking a little bit of the glossy layer off the top so that your cards have tooth. They have something to stick to. Adhesive to a book page for step 2. And then you're letting that dry off to the side. Cut those out, or I guess that's technically step 3. Then step 4 is doing the back side of your card. Okay. And then you have cards that are ready to go, or ready to, excuse me, ready to decorate, embellish, whichever term you would like to use. Okay. So these they will lift up a little. So you have to give it time to actually set and actually dry before you continue to work on them. Okay. So I'm going to do this and then move this aside and then show you the next step, just so these can dry while I'm waiting. So great way to use book pages, mini collage. If you like to do large masterboards on paper, you can easily take these cards and stick them on the back side of your masterboard and then cut them out, and then they're already collaged, and then you don't have to do the extra step, or another step I should say. So I like to flip this around, give it a good rub, and then leave this to dry. I'm going to leave this to dry for probably overnight, at least a few hours for that. Let's see, these ones are already ready, so I'm going to close this up. I'm going to put my brush in a baby wipe so it doesn't dry up while we're waiting. But this is wet. And I just wrap this up just so it doesn't dry up on there. Okay. Actually, I'll use one to clean my hands. Sorry for the crunching. And then the next step. Okay, so then once my cards are dry and I've done both sides, they look like that. Well, they don't necessarily look like this. I used my We Are Memory Keepers corner punch to do the corners of these. So these were already punched out. So I fussy cut them around. Then I did the corners, and I do that because I like to know how much space I'm working with. Okay. So I've also added more collage to these. Some of these I've taken white paint to so that they're a little less vibrant. This is some Tim Holtz collage paper over the book page just to mix it up a little. Okay, so generally I would sew these first. But these ones I've added extra adhesive, so I don't have to sew them all. And then I will decorate them. I use all types of things. I'm not set on one manufacturer or one designer for embellishments. So I like the 49 in Market, the washi tape stickers, which are really fun to use. The 49 in Market larger laser cuts to use. This is the Crafty Garden laser cut wildflowers. Some of these are small enough that they work for this. Others are too big, so you have to kind of test it out. Some Tim Holtz. I like to use the stamps or the labels that I create, which are from Tim Holtz stamps, which I've shown you guys these before. If you've watched some of my other videos, you've seen these. So I think I might even use a couple. That one's too big. I might use that. Maybe that. I'll just grab a couple. and just make them work. How about that? Tim Holtz snippets. Okay, so I'll use some of these as well. Okay, art glitter glue. That's my go-to glue. And then I have frayed burlap distress oxide here. So I'm going to start with some of that just to do the edges. Just add a little color. Then, and so really it's just, I mean, like you do any other collage. You can collage how you like. I do tend to do this as a mass make. For me, it's a little easier to pull out the smaller pieces, to do all the adhesive all at once, cut them out, at least in steps. For me, it just, I feel like I get more done that way, compared to if I was doing one at a time. If I was doing one and had to sand one, collage medium one, stick on the book page, then wait for it to dry, and then go back, and I wouldn't get much done. I don't think. I think it would just take too long, and I would get distracted. I tend to get distracted easily, especially when I'm doing multiples of, not multiples, like if I'm doing one thing at a time. Yeah, which we all know our own faults, right? I guess that could be one of mine. So, okay, so I have those two. Let's stick this on this one. So for me, I like to collage with book page. I've had people ask me, why do you do that? And then you cover it all up. I like the texture in the back, or the interest with the words, and some of the extra things. I think it just adds a little bit more. You don't have to do that. You do you, as Tim Holtz likes to say. You do it the way you like. If you like solid colors in the back, use solid colors in the back. It really, it's your project. You do it how you want. I just like to show different ideas and hopefully get different ideas from what I'm working on. Some of these will fit small paper dolls. If you have the Tim Holtz minis paper dolls, I think I've used all of my smallest ones. Like, these are a little bit too big for this. If you're going to layer pieces, it could work. Let's see, I think I have one that is a layer. Nope, I don't. So these are, right now, what I have left are mini groups, and they don't quite fit on there. They're a little bit too big. This might fit. Let's see. Little dog's head. So cute. Oh, it looks like it took his ears off. They could fit on there, and it'll work. So I could do that. I'm going to add a little bit more color though underneath, since I'm going to use them. Make sure it looks like they're sitting on something, not just squatting in the sky. This one has a lot of brown. Let's add another color. Like, that's a lot of layers, but no, I think it's fine. They're going to look like they're going to sit on that edge of that. Okay, so his foot is going to hang off of there just a tiny bit, but that's okay. Again, you do what you like. If you don't want it to do that, than use a bigger tag base, but I'm okay with it. So make sure it looks like they're sitting properly. Excuse me. If you saw one of my my most recent video, I apologize clearing my throat so often. It is allergy season for me. I am a fall winter allergy gal. So this is a slotted punch. So it punches this small line. I've had a lot of people ask me about this. I bought this from Hobby Lobby. I've never really noticed it anywhere else, but I'm sure if you Amazon it, it's a slot. It's called a slotted punch, and it's pretty heavy. It's a heavy duty thing. So there we go. So there's a tag, and then use some trim. I'll do that after. Okay. See, look, I got distracted. Okay, so there's one. Here's another. I'm not going to use people. Oops, sorry. I'm going to use a die cut this time. And I'm going to use one of these, I think. These might be too big. I think I've been working on this this little project for a little bit today, so I've used a lot of the size that works for this size. The size that works for this size. Does that make sense? I've used the smaller pieces of floral that work on this tag size. That's better stated. Better explanation. Let's see. What happened here? Oh, I think that broke off. Okay, so see how it's kind of long? I could put that on there and just trim off the bottom. Let's try it. And then I'm going to add a butterfly. It's a little butterfly. Yep, right there. Perfect. Let me not stick that on my wet glue. Okay, so these 49 in Market laser cuts, I really like them. They are something though that once they're popped out of the packaging, the background package, it's really hard to figure out how to sort them or organize them because they are so delicate. So I try as long as I can to leave them in that big backing sheet. But eventually they come off and they go in one of these clear boxes that I use to store my loose pieces. I'm going to also use some antique linen, which is slightly yellow, to give the butterfly a little yellow. Excuse me. Okay, so here we go. Another tag piece. This one, I'm not going to punch a hole. I'm just going to staple a trim to the top. So just trim that off. And that's another one. So these fun tags, little mini tags, are, I use them for in my books when I'm doing journals. I also add them to my kits when I'm doing mixed ephemera kits because they are handmade pieces, mixed ephemera, ready to go. Something that you can use when you are making a book. That one's cute too. Let's stick that on there. And so ready to use pieces. And then every so often I do a ready to use handmade mixed just ephemera kits. I think I might have one or two more left on in my shop right now. And they are some of the tags I've done during the tag of the day videos, things like this. if there's a theme, it could be 8 pieces that are all floral, or all butterflies or birds or something like that, like a theme. Or yeah, or they're added inside. So I have those. The other thing I use when I'm creating these is my Tim Holtz sticker books, which I kind of cleaned up to, here we go, so that I could show you what I was doing today, and then didn't put it all back. But you can use the clipping stickers or label stickers. Or no stickers. It really just depends on what you want to do. So instead of me digging through all that right now, I'll just show you the other thing. Okay, so then my trim that I just recently showed in my whole video, I'm going to use some of this. Oh, sorry, I'm doing it off camera. Didn't even realize it's off camera. So you just make a small knot, almost like a bow. You can staple that. Just use the tiny attacher, staple it to the top. I'm going to put 2 staples in it since I made that knot kind of fat. Make sure it goes through. Nope, I don't like that. Take it out. Try again. Just use a different piece. I'm going to staple it and then tie it and see if that works better. So staple it. Yep, it went through, and then I'm going to tie it in a knot. But don't pull too hard, because you don't want to pull the staple right out of your tag. So I'm just going to go through. Of course, this doesn't want to work for me when I'm filming it. Just did this on another one. There we go. And it's crooked. Well, I'll fix that. It's not going to stay that way, but there we go. So you can add a tag like that. You can tie it through here or staple it. I'm just using this because I have it right here. Normally I have other colors and do multiple colors, but so you can tie it or staple it. And I'm going to staple it. Nope, I'm going to tie it. Can't decide. Can't decide. Oops, I keep bringing it closer to me and you guys can't see. So, there we go. That tie looks better when it's in the slit. There we go. A tie, or a hole. You can use a regular hole punch or a crocodile, whatever you have. And then I'm going to use some of this sari silk, or I'm not sure if it's sari silk. It was the rag rug that I talked about. And I'm just going to tie a piece onto here so you have different colors. Different colors. coordinate with your book or with the things that you're doing. Oh my goodness. This must be different. I think, okay. So the other day I said, oh, this rips so easy. And then I tried to rip this blue one and it did not work. So just now I'm trying to do it again. The ones I was using, excuse me, at the event that I was at, they ripped like butter. They just shredded across and it was actually really easy. So anyway, so there you go. 3 little tags. Nice and quick, nice and easy. So if you have an abundance of playing cards or game cards, get them out, use them, create something new with them. A lot of times we have too many and we go, oh, what am I going to do with this? I don't know, but I can use it, and you're not really sure, and it gets put aside and then it gets shoved in the closet or in your drawer. So now you can make some tags with the playing cards that you have extra of. So let me just show you some of the ones I did today. Earlier, I just did these 3 with you. The longest time for this is the drying in between. So if you have time, maybe set some up before you go to bed. Then the next day, if you're crafting the next day, cut them up, do some more in the morning or something, and then, you know, run your errands, do whatever you have for the day, and then by the end of the evening, you'll have time to actually work on it. Create them. So these ones, again, I stitched these. I don't know if you can see the stitching that I added to these. I do like to sew on my stuff, so I do like to add the stitching around. But this one doesn't have a hole yet, so I'm not done. But these are some of the tags that I embellished today. I had like I said, I have this done in steps. So this has a napkin collaged on the top. It's a sticker. This is something different. I could show you. Stickers, die cuts, using the stamp. This also has some cheesecloth on it, the label, some paint. You can do all kinds of things. And they're all slightly different. So you can mass make, and they don't have to be identical. So hopefully I gave you some ideas, and that was quick. I think I'm under 40 minutes. Yay! But yeah, if you have extra game cards, create some tags. They're fun for your book, and they're fun to share. Okay, I hope you guys play, and if you create this or I'd love for you to show. You can add, I'm going to also have a post in the community area, comments for a post. I'm going to post this or on my Instagram or on Facebook. If you create tags, I'd love to see them. So you can share them with me, tag me in what you created, and just get your stuff out and play. Happy crafting, everyone. Until next time. See you later.